Good morning, everyone. Lori Marie here, mixed media artist in Vallejo, California. It's pajama day! That's right. I don't think I'm going to get dressed today. What a delightful day that is going to be. I can spend the whole day in my studio if I want. I am meeting a friend for coffee, so that'll be nice. But other than that, I am off the hook. So today we're going to be playing with a box and putting a little card on it. This is the one I have made. Very, very fun. So we are going to make one of those together today with a box and an old book cover. I have lots of books that I've pulled apart using the pages and things like that. So it leaves the skeleton behind. It leaves the cover behind. So we're going to play with that today. I've made a couple of these boxes. They never turn out the same, and I love them. So I hope you join in and play. You guys have been amazing. I've heard from Holland and Africa and Czech and Australia. So you guys are just joining in on the fun, and I have to tell you, it makes a difference when I'm in my studio to know that you guys are playing with me. So chat, chat, chat. See you on the table. The box that we're going to create today. Isn't that fun? Oh my goodness. So this is the cover of a book. I have books, of course, that I've pulled the pages out of, so I've got the skeleton of the book. So that's what this is, and then a piece of ephemera, and then a focal point on there. So let's go through the supplies. There's a list of supplies this morning. My goodness, I've got a whole pile here. I'm going to use the Stays On. This is not in order, gang. This is just the way it's stacked on my desk, okay? This is Stays On ink, Timber Brown. These are little grommets, tiny little grommets. A piece of an old book page. You'll need a template that's 3 by 3. A box that you're going to use. This is a Shutterfly box because I order cards from Shutterfly. So that's what this is. But you can use any box, of course. I have one of Jane Davenport's watercolor brushes in brown. I'll go around my focal point with that so that it doesn't have white edges. This is the book cover that I'm going to use today. It's just the remains of a book. I have a tool that's called Round It All. I don't have very many tools, although I'm using a couple of them today. And we'll use this to round the corners of the old book cover. I'm going to use a couple of different spray inks. I've got, I think this is eucalyptus walnut ink and Java walnut ink, so I've gone with darker colors for that. You will need your Mod Podge, of course, our trusty Mod Podge, some gesso, a ruler, and a focal point. Now, I usually use a focal point out of my inventory, but these are, not this, but these are Tim Holtz paper dolls. And so that made my life very easy this morning to pick out a focal point. And this is the focal point. It's actually 3 pieces. The 2 little girls are 1 piece from the Tim Holtz. The little boy is another. I just clipped his hand a little bit so that he could put his hand on her shoulder. And then I put a hat on him, a crossword puzzle hat on him, which is very fun. And we're going to use our Crocodile, I always say it wrong, Crocodile 2 to poke some holes in our book cover square. Okay? I forgot to mention in the supplies that you'll need an X-Acto knife, some string of some sort because we're going to be tying the book cover onto your box, and some sandpaper. Let's get started. So I have a template cut that's 3 by 3, 3 by 3. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to lay it on my book cover. Kind of want to use that piece. That's kind of fun. So I will lay that on there. And then I'm just going to take my X-Acto and start cutting it out. And you kind of have to press hard. I have my desk protected with a hard piece of cardboard so that if this goes through a little bit, that's okay. Once you have scored this many times with your X-Acto, you will feel it give way when it goes through the very, very bottom of your book page or your book cover. There it is. Okay. There we go. All right, as you can see, it's not straight. Welcome to my world. So I'll set that X-Acto aside, and I'm going to grab my Zutter. This is the Round It All. And I'm going to go around the corners with that. And then I'm going to take my sandpaper, and I'm just going to go around the edges. Kind of get rid of the extra debris there. Now I'm going to take my piece of ephemera and I'm just going to glue it down. I'm going to use that green as the top. As you can see, it's kind of crooked. I don't care. So with my Mod Podge, I'm going to just glue this down. There's a goober on there from a past adventure. I'm just going to go right over it. And let's see, we'll go a little bit off center. And just Mod Podge that down. Next we're going to get a little bit of gesso, just a real light coat of gesso to blend all this in. Not too much. I just use the same brush. I just wash it and just use it. This will give the whole thing a bite for when we add some ink or whatever we're going to do at that point. So just a little coat of, I want some streaks. There we go. Beautiful. Little coat of gesso on there. While that dries, I'm going to take my Jane Davenport paint pen, watercolor paint pen, and I chose a brown, and I'm just going to go around the edge of my focal point so that it doesn't have a white edge when I glue it onto that 3x3 card. So just go around your entire focal point. The back doesn't matter. Just go around the entire focal point, turning it brown. I know this is a pain, but it does make a difference in your final piece. And if you use a watercolor, if you get some on your focal point, you can just wipe it right off. So that's really nice. So just go around the whole edge. Turn the whole edge dark. Takes a minute. It's worth it, gang. Alright, my piece is just about dry. I'm going to grab my Stays On Timber Brown. And I'm going to go around the edge of my book cover piece. Give that a nice brown edge. After I hit the edge, I just touched my Stays On pad with my finger and kind of distressed the white edge there. Beautiful. Now I'm going to glue my focal point on. I just grabbed some Mod Podge on my brush. I'm going to put that on the back side of the focal point. his hat's going to hang over a little bit. I'm okay with that. And we will put the children down. Take a paper towel. Give them a little rub. And what a great beginning we have. So cute. And this is where you can see the dark edges paid off. So it's not white there. I have grabbed my 3x3 template, my crocodile, using the smallest hole. I made a hole where I want the holes to be in my book cover card. And I will go around. First I will punch a hole here, then I'll flip it. Punch a hole here, flip it again. This is just an easier way for me to make the holes a little bit more even, rather than measuring the template 4 times for holes. Then I'll flip it again, the final hole. Well, that was jarring. Sorry. Alright, so here's my template with the 4 holes. Alright, you're going to need 4 little grommets, your book cover card, and your crocodile. And you're going to install the grommets in the holes. And this little crocodile makes that really, really easy to do. So you just put the grommet in the corner, and install it. That's it. So I have my book cover card, my ephemera, a little bit of gesso, some Stays On ink, my focal point where I have painted the edge, and my 4 grommets. Now we're going to work on the box. For the box part, you will need a couple of different spray inks and your Stays On ink, and I'm going to continue on with the Timber Brown. And you just spray it. I'm going to blot that. That came out a bit hardier than I wanted it to. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's good. Beautiful. A little bit more here. This is eucalyptus, which is a little bit on the green side. And I'm going to let that dry. Look at those hands. Oh, how artsy. While our delicious box is still drying, I'm going to take my string. This string's about, I don't know, maybe about 15 inches long. I'm just going to cut it in half because I want half for one side and then half for the other. And we're patiently waiting for our box to dry. It's taking a moment. All right, I'll walk away. Prepared for the next step. All right, that took forever for that to dry. Here's our card. I did make a little label that says boys on it that I'll put near the top. We want to make sure to cover that shutterfly label. So it'll be something like that. All right, so that's about how far from the bottom. We'll say about 1 inch. All right, so I'm going to open my box up. to the inside. Put this up about an inch. Let's take a peek and see how inchy that is. Oh, that's about right. Okay. Unstraight as usual. Then I'm going to just mark where I want the holes in the lid of the box. Okay. So it'll be like this on the other side. And I'm going to grab that Chinese punch. If you haven't ever used one, you just see if I can get my hand out of the way. Put it where you want it and then push down. And it will make the hole. And you see that hole? Lovely. I'm going to make the other 3 holes. Alright, there's my box with the 4 holes in it. The card will go there. If you don't have one of those tools, just use something pokey that you can make a hole in your box with. Now I'm going to thread this through the 2 holes in the bottom of the box, from the bottom of the box. Thread this through that hole. And just tie that. We're going to do the same on the other side. Just thread it through. And tie it. I have both of the knots tied. I'm just going to go in and trim those strings a little bit. I don't mind some strings, but too long, too distracting. Alright, here's my boy's sign that I'm going to just Mod Podge down there. I went back and sprayed the bottom of the box so that when you open the box it looks like it goes together. It's not quite dry yet. And I'm not waiting. What do you think of that? So I'm going to grab my StazOn Timber Brown again, and I'm going to go around the edge of the box. Then I'm going to touch the pad with my finger and just go around my little boy's sign so that that looks old and distressed as well. And there it is. It can be a gift box, it can be a supply box, it can be whatever you want it to be. You can use any box. I was thinking about why not even use an old matchbox. I think that'll be fun. And then of course I have the cigarette boxes from my friend, and that would work on there as well, making a smaller box. So too much fun. Thanks guys for playing. Always fun to have you along. Keep making those comments. Give me a thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. Make sure you tell me why it's a thumbs down. That helps me so much. When I just see a thumbs down, I don't understand it. So there it is. Thanks again. See you next time.